Well, hello and how are ya? One more day, one more day. This'll be blog 8, and the date is 2/7/2015. Yep, it's another day. It was nice and warm out there today, out here in high over St. Charlie Town, Missouri. That's where I live. I tell you that every day, but that's just in case you're a newcomer to my blog. It's a beautiful day out there today. Notice my face got a little red, got a little color to me. Yeah. Went down, looked at stopped by the neighbor's house, watched the kids jump on the trampoline, went down around the corner, caught up with my other neighbor for a little while, talked to her. That's pretty much, what I done today on account. It was, by the time I got out there, I waited too long, my battery on my chair was dead, so I had to let that charge up for a little while, and then once that got charged up, I decided to go on out there and check out the temperature, and felt like I was brave enough to take it for a little bit, so I did. I just took on out there and moved that up there a little bit, so it's closer to the mouth, get a little bit better reception. Went on out there and took a look at the weather and got brave enough to go on out around the neighborhood and got a chance to visit with the neighbors again. Yeah, that's how that goes, You can't spend all your time in the house. Shoot, you go stir crazy. Not me though. Not me. I just can't. I can't stay in the house all the time. I was thinking back when I lived at home. I was watching a show on television today, and they was talking about bungee jumping. I invented that sport. They say I didn't invent it, but I tell you what, I'm pretty sure I did. We used to go to a store called Aldi's. Well, many of y'all know what that is. Up there's a good place to go on account of groceries. You can get a bigger bag of groceries for a lot less money. If you're not careful, a bunch of deer will follow you out the store because, well, you get to save more bucks. Oh, sorry. I found that was just worth a little snort. Anyway, I was out in my front yard. You see, I went to Aldi's, and they used to take their skids. When their skids of groceries would come in, they'd have the plastic wrap around them, but then they'd put these pieces of tire inner tube. They'd take that and they'd wrap around it also just to stabilize the load. And well, I would have them save those inner tube pieces for me. Now they were real thin, they were only like about an inch thick or inch and a half thick, wide, let's say wide, but they were cut into pieces, and I'd get about 9 or 10 of them, and I'd strap them all together, and I'd tie them on a branch up in the front yard there, and I'd stand up on that branch, and now see, I did not do the bungee jumping where you tied it around your ankles and dove off something. That just there was plumb crazy to me. I would wear had them strapped around my legs like a sort of a like I was a mountain climber. Mountain climber. Harness. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Kind of like a harness. Well, microphone just keeps sliding down. That ain't a good thing. Yeah, like a harness, and I'd stand up on that limb, and I'd jump off of that limb, and I'd come down, and I'd hit the ground, and I'd bounce back up onto that limb, which was really cool. Well, actually, no, I had them tied to the limb above the one I was standing on, and then that way, whenever I jumped down, I could spring back up to the limb I was standing on. Well, we had a garage sale this one time, and old boy come in there, and I was over there bungee jumping is exactly what I called it. And he's standing over there, and he says, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Oh, bungee jumping." He says, "You're what?" And I said, "Bungee jumping. I just jump off of this limb like this and bounce right back up here like that." He was kind of interested in it. Now, I didn't think he was going to take and steal my idea and make bunches of money out of it. That just wasn't quite fair, because I was only 9 or 10 years old. That ain't fair for a man to steal a 9 or 10-year-old boy's occupation. That was my invention, and he done took it, and he done make all kinds of money with it. And shoot, that wasn't fair at all. I tell you, I used to like to climb trees. That was one of my things. I could shimmy up a tree in no time flat. I could almost give a squirrel a run for his money in a tree race. So I wasn't really afraid of heights or nothing. Used to go to a place there called Johnson Shut-ins. Down around the back, they used to have a quarry area. And it wasn't really a quarry. It was just where the water ended up flowing down around the back. Now, there was signs, of course, that said, "Do not jump." But whoever paid attention to them, Now, this was before Johnson Shut-ins flooded. But anyway, we go down there, and you could dive off the cliffs and whatnot. Now, I myself never went up to the top. I couldn't convince myself. I was afraid of heights, but I wasn't completely afraid of heights. But there was no way I was going to go way up there and jump off of that thing, not knowing how deep that water really was. I mean, going up about 30 feet and jumping off was one thing, but going up to about 40 to 50 feet, maybe it was 50 to 60, I don't know. It was way up there, and I wasn't going to jump off there. No way. I just didn't have it. I didn't have it in me. But that's beside the point. First time I jump off, I jumped and got a feel for how deep the water was, and figured if I could jump it, I could dive it. So I went back up, and then I dove, because I didn't want to be pansy and just jump by my feet. I wanted to go back up and dive. That's just the way I was. Yeah, way back during that time, Blanchette Pool, that's the one over here in Blanchette Park. Now, they had a diving board, and they had the high dive. They don't got that no more. They've got one small Olympic pool, and then they got this water park thing where you don't get really have room to swim. You just tread water out there in the little pond, and you go around the slides and stuff like that, and water slides, and it's a fun park thing now. It's not really a pool, but they had a diving board, and they had two of them. Actually, they had three of them. They had one on each side of the high dive, and I learned how to dive. I wasn't no spectacular dive. I wasn't no dive like a beaver dive, but I was a diver. Now, the only reason I said beaver dive is because there was this one guy up there named Beaver, and he could dive. I tell you what, I figured he'd have been in the Olympics at some point in time, but he never proved to make it that far. I never saw him there, that's for sure. You know what? I'm going to turn this volume up just to there. That way, whenever it's recording, if I record it on full volume, maybe whenever you go to listen to it on the YouTube there, you'll be able to hear me a little bit better. and I don't have to worry about this microphone falling all the way back down to my chin every 4 seconds. Yeah. Anyway, oh yeah, remember I was talking about yesterday. I was talking about that backyard and family bonfires. Well, when I got older, we used to have bonfires out there all the time by ourselves, and we had a key bucket, and we'd have a keg of beer, and all the friends would come by, and key bucket. Now the key bucket was specifically designed for you to throw your keys in whenever you got there. If you was going to be drinking, we didn't want you leaving the yard and driving home drunk, and so we gave you a chance. You had to reach in the bucket and find your keys. If you could find your keys with 3 draws, why, then you could drive on home. We figured you was sober enough to be able to drive home. Well, that led to the keychain conundrum. You had people that had 24 different little keychains on their keys so that they could dig in there and feel something familiar and like nobody else would have, and they could drag that out of there and they'd have their keys. Well, and pretty soon, everybody's got all these 20 keys, 20, 30 key rings up. There we go. Special. Yeah. Bring her back down. There we go. Now then, you'd have 20 or 30 different keys on there, and then pretty soon, 20 or 30 different key rings, pretty soon your ignition got worn out because too much weight on it from the key rings. But anyway, we'd be all sitting out there by that campfire, big old bonfires, and then you could tell the people that couldn't find their keys because mom and dad come out in the morning time, and anybody that couldn't find their keys, they was still laying around the bonfire sleeping it off, if you know what I mean. We would take one friend of mine had the family truckster. That's what we called his station wagon. Well, he had the old family truckster, and he'd bring that back down there around the I gotta fix this chair for a second here. It might cut that muscle spasm for me. There you go. Yeah, he had an old family truckster, and we'd bring that thing around the backyard there, and we'd all just crawl in the back of that thing and crank up the stereo and sit back there in the back of the station wagon and listen to music and sit around the bonfire and whatnot. And there, some nights there, you could go after a while and let that fire burn down, and we'd get to where we'd be hearing this whoop, 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 banner, banner, whoop, whoop. Well, you know what that was. It was bullfrogs. And, well, we'd head on off down to the farmer's pond, Yeah, there was a horse farm down the street from us, and he had a pond back there. And well, them bullfrogs, they used to lay up on that water. If you take your flashlight and you go down there and you spot them bullfrogs with that flashlight, you spotted them, and well, it would hypnotize them and paralyze them. And then you go down there and you crawl in real close to them, and you keep that light on them with your non-good hand, because you're going to have that good hand. See, I'm right-handed, so I'd keep that light on them with my left hand, and I'd hold that light on them, and I'd crawl right down in there by that frog, and I'd slam that frog down with your right hand, and you could slap him right down and grab a hold of him, and you could get a hold of that old bullfrog. They make some pretty good legs, bullfrog legs. You just take them home, peel them off, skin them off like that there, and you keep the backbone and the legs, and then that way you got something to hold on to them with. But you got to be careful about frying up old bullfrog, because them bullfrogs almost jump out of the frying pan because of the nerves and the tendons still left in them, and they start getting hot in that grease. Whew, they'll be jumping around, that's for sure. But I tell you what, there ain't nothing like the taste of old bullfrog. Yeah, buddy. Anyway, looks like my time's about up. Anyway, this here is Shenandoah. You know what I didn't do tonight? I did not pray. So I tell you what, Father, I just want to thank you for the beautiful day you provided for us today. The weather was great and grand, and it was beautiful and warm out there. And I just want you to bless all the people that are picking up on this program. And I'd like for you to like me on YouTube. You know, I know you are catching me on my Facebook, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate the feedback that I'm getting lately. But I definitely need somebody to like my YouTubes, because if you don't like the YouTubes, then I don't get enough hits, and if I don't get enough hits on them, I can't get a sponsor, and well, you know how that goes. That's what the whole ploy is. Got to get you a sponsor. Anyway, my time's up, so hello and how are you? God loves you, and so do I. Shenandoah said it, and we'll check you later. Bye.